So say this. Does it really sound so outrageous talking about possession? I mean, all our lives we're taught about possessions, owning things, having things, being a thing, being seen as things, noticing things. Like all about it is possession. Our whole upbringing. Then we become adults, and possession evolves, and possession becomes owning something. Deciding what something becomes, or you know, as you see, something just said die, but we rebuke that and we take that back. I rescind that. And so, with that being said, it goes like this whole time, we're here trying to establish ourselves, trying to develop. We've already understood what possession is, and the possessor still is here, keep hitting the brakes with forget, forget, forget. So, why want to put it on camera? Why want the whole world to show it, but not go as far as CNN, NBC, ABC? You know, that's my question there. Well, I mean, think about it, dude. We're just playing a possession game where we're gonna sit here and understand everything there is to know about possession, but somehow we're gonna play like we're afraid, like nobody knows what's going on, and like it deserves so much more attention because possessing stuff apparently requires attention. You know, as a matter of fact, when you start getting possessed, I think the first thing that gets taken from you is your attention. You know, so you could almost say like we live being possessed. I watch TV all day, dude. I watch the Wendy's commercial and I get possessed by it. Oh my God, nice burger. I want one. Can't wait to get some later. And then the next commercial comes on, Jack in the Box all of a sudden. And so on and so forth. But I mean that's our way of life. So where I'm trying to see is like where did people get lost? Where did it become weaponized? And how did it become weaponized? If it sounds so simple explaining possession, you know? I mean, the companies that advertise to us understand possession. They understand maintaining our attention. That's what commercials are dramatically built for. You know? So, I mean, every day I've been living in a commercial, you know? And everything's been constantly trying to get me to sell myself because I found it in my head or because I felt it in my body that for some reason it should be more important. What I mean by that, let's say from the good guy point of view, because you think righteous thoughts, because you think saving thoughts, because you think, basically only profit, royalty, like basically like you're somebody who comes from a kingdom. That was the original battle, right? But then it became about possession. So once we get people away from the kingdom mind, now it becomes about possessing something, right? So if my God, if my eyes aren't fixed on my God, right? Because I'm too caught up in myself, having this battle within myself about possession. That isn't a difficult topic to understand. We all know what possession is. Ideas come and go all day. Feelings come and go all day. They all try to rule us. We kick their asses every single time. But there is something that does happen. Reality has weaponized, these instances where we kick its ass. Think about it. If I have to have a spiritual battle with the air about ideas that are, being thrown around and attempted to seed somebody's mind, why would society have a problem with a person having a verbal discussion, other than being able to tell and direct a person, hey, there's a better way of doing it. Maybe put it on video cameras and replay it for yourself and watch it every day. You won't have to act it out over and over. You'll just press repeat like they trained you to. So, and with that, it's kind of what has happened. I went from living a life of being very active to living at home now on repeat. Basically, feeling like I can't fit into society. Basically, being separated from having any coherence with people, because everybody likes their privacy. But when it comes down to forming drama, public drama, like everybody's ready to fire people to make you look like a problem. I mean, and it just happens naturally. And what happens is do it. our own impulses. You know, and it's really what it is. You know, so if you're a problem at work because of your own impulses, and then you come back home, it shouldn't get any better, right? So why does it get better? You know? And originally, I'm pretty sure if you were a problem at home, you would have never even got the job to begin with, you know? Because most people with impulses, or at least problems with impulses, you know, tend to, well, let's just say navigate life differently, you know? But here, we're at a standstill, you know? I mean, I'm practically living like a monk, you know? If it wasn't because of all the distractions that I have around me, which are the comforts, you know, walls, you know, amenities, you know, I mean, if it wasn't because of that, like all I would see is literally the bed I sleep in, the bed I wake up in, and whatever it is I spend my day doing. So far, it's very easy. Most of the time, just Hulu, Netflix, YouTube, you know, any impulsive way that I can hide myself because I cannot be present. I have to be hiding. The only way to hide is to live in the impulses of everybody else's drives, you know? Yeah, also, and if I am hiding, you know, apparently that's when I start thinking, plotting, planning, discovering the world and all its secrets, you know? Because apparently I don't have any limits. I could think anything in any direction that I want, you know? I'm not bound by any paper legally that's telling me this, or that I can't say because I signed it or whatever, you know? MDA or something like that, I don't know. Most of you guys are just because of the oath, you guys, you know? Secrecy oath, you know? A lot of you guys, it's the only reason you guys can't say shit. Because you have you guys convinced everything in some program, in some office, in some laboratory, and so everybody has to shh. So think about it. Presence, presence, presence. You know when you're present, it almost feels like you're like a leaf in the wind. You could almost just, you know, like just like this with the wind. That's present, but I still feel the tension on my back. I still feel you holding something, whatever your possessing entity is. Like I still feel the tension somewhere, you know. I mean, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out the dynamics of my body. Am I supposed to always be upright, you know, or is it really gotta be like a force that I have to fight to sit upright, you know? Think about it, because the forces that I'm fighting on gravity would just keep me down, you know? But whatever forces that are battling my body, they're like possession, you know? They're possessing a certain space in my atmosphere that I myself am not choosing to possess. That's my problem with it, you know? What I'm wondering is, why do I feel like I'm being pushed up? You know, like my insides feel like they're trying to come up, you know? And I'm just sitting here. Like I should feel gravity pulling me down, right? Where's gravity at? Like, is it a thing of the past? Did it disappear? I don't see me drifting away into space yet. You know? So I understand that when you fight in martial arts, the gathering of energy begins at the feet of the sole of your feet. You know? And now it's inhabiting the space within me. It's with my presence, with my breath. Or does it feel like I'm like there's too many inside of me? Did I capture too many souls? Do I have to kick some out or what? You know what it is? It's my centers. And when a center is entered, you know, it's a side to side type of force, versus my spiritual that's a vertical kind of force. So it's like when I tap into spiritual form, that's an up form, up and down, what happens? Think about how the distractions occur. You're connected to heaven and to the earth. Heaven and earth. So you guys see how I'm not occupying the space in my body? That means there is an electromagnetic disturbance in my being right now because I'm not breathing. And you could also tell by the tone of my voice. It's always amped up or too low. Too soft or too much this, One of the two. Instead of remaining balanced, you can hear the distortion in my energy in my voice. That's how you can hear it. All you got to do is create a constant tone. And see how I messed it up? That's what they could have done, but they're too bitch made to do it. That's basically doing what society has been doing to me. They'll act or they'll treat me this way, and then they'll remind me that it's not me, that it's something inside of me that they're treating like this. This is how I live. So, welcome to my club. Let me do their job for them again. That was the devil. Tell yourself something. Think in your mind. Talk to yourself. Internal dialogue. Feel some kind of way. I guess it hasn't rubbed off yet. It was worth a try. What I like is that the whole time they're just here showing off. That they can literally be here in camera, on camera, and it wouldn't even matter. Like, that's where we get the pride from, Why wouldn't we be this proud, Think about it. I could sit here and let this entity invade my mind and have me imagine all these horrible deaths. And also, it could have the purpose of then telling me that was its life that it showed me, and that's all the things it survived. And then I could sit here and think to myself, oh, I just saw all this bloody murder, horror, massacre, and all this nonsense occurring for no absolute reason. Or I can wait for my 10-second Tom friend to show up and say, now forget. Now, all of that is really you. And then, oh my God, no, I don't want to be all that. Now I have all this absorbed trauma. Now I'm fighting and running from this life that... Wait a minute, that shit was a movie, nigga. I should have just forgot that shit like every other movie, huh? You guys see how my body relaxed? Like, it just naturally went with gravity. Think about that. The whole time it's there trying to look straight, look presentable, trying to put on a good fucking act, But I think I did it with the mouth talk, All I had to say was a couple F's this and F that, Well, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.